turn them over, see right here, it says left and right. I figured that out on an airplane. I had a little time on the airplane. Oh, shots. Don't do that on an airplane. Don't ever do that. Well, how would you get on an airplane?
Take a.
What you been up to, bro?
I made some bat houses yesterday. Actually, let me walk that back. I made most of one yesterday.
You're a hard worker.
Man, I got it done, though. Most of it.
You make bat houses, cuz?
My stapler broke, though, so I had to stop.
You make bat houses, or you live at the bat house?
No, me and my son and his friend working on a community project to make some bat houses and put them up and around the city.
Gentlemen, have you ever wondered what the word gentleman represents? What is gentle about a man? Can a man be gentle? Why do gentle men seem to be a better man? Do you have to be gentle to be a good man?
Why is she talking so fast?
Also, is it because you have gentle balls? I wonder what your balls feel like.
Come on, man.
I am wondering because I'm going to make my transition and considering the operation. I don't know if I want female genitalia or male balls.
Hold up,
Do
man.
you guys think feels better, balls or vagina?
Pause that.
Think about it. Well, let's get right into it. This story.
Pause that.
Yo,
I
stop
got a
trying
question.
to interrupt Kimberly.
I got a
Reporters have
question.
said the name Caylee Anthony more times than they
she
say
don't
their
answer,
local call
she just
signs.
regurgitates.
Local C.A. SCY News. Is this story about the death of a beautiful little girl? The cover-up of a crazy family? Or success of powerful people? Some say the Caylee Anthony trial was unjust and nobody was ever prosecuted. Who benefited from Caylee's death? This story made people famous and infamous. Attorneys, judges, and media personalities have all profited from being associated with this historical murder trial. Not to mention all the money made off documentaries and news articles. Caylee's unfortunate story has paid lights bills and mortgages. Is making money off Caylee unjust? Shit, even you two fucks right now.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you peons. You tall bear. Thinkies to think about. We are all complicit.
Pinkies?
Not me, cuz. I'm an algorithm.
Jesus
I am
Christ.
like Blueface baby.
Your pauses are all weird.
That's a lot to
The
take
transition is from a computer thing into a human. I thought the transition was from like a computer thing to...
in. I think you're overanalyzing everything. I think you just have to accept. We're in the age of accepting things for acceptance.
Makes no damn sense. That's all I'm saying.
Does anything nowadays make any damn sense?
No, everything that I think J. Cole said it, right?
You think Caylee Anthony murdered her daughter?
Yep.
Murdered.
Yep.
You don't think it was an
Oh, okay.
accident?
No, I don't know exactly how it happened, but I think she knew what
You
happened.
think
from
she
the
was
beginning.
complicit?
Yeah, she knew what happened. I think she knew what happened from the beginning. Like, it's almost clear that she knew. You know. But I don't know if she actually did or if it was an accident or.
I'm going to be honest. Jumping into the story, I've obviously done some history, so I know, the story context I know a little bit more. But on the outside, before doing some research for the podcast, I just genuinely thought she was another one of the crazy mamas, right? Remember how in a previous episode we talked about the whole teacher syndrome, right? The teacher having sex with child, and how it was ever upcoming theme within our society. It happened a lot. This happens a lot too, where the supposed mother goes crazy or something happens and the baby ends up being dead, right? The thing is that, like, it's become such a popular thing, though, for us to try it in our minds. And, like...
Try, what do you mean try it?
Well, just like the Trayvon Martin thing, unfortunately, we believe that Trayvon didn't get just duty right and Zimmerman got away. And then in this case, we believe that Caylee Anthony is guilty, but she got away. So it's such a gray area. Like, if the justice system is a justice system, right? And across the board, we keep thinking that they keep making mistakes, right? Like people are not getting tried for this stuff. How do we really know that
How do
she
we really
did?
know that she did?
Yeah, like
Because
if
we
the court
assume
system can't.
Well, we have to. First of all, we have to because we got no choice. We have to.
Why?
Because it wasn't. There was no justice done, right? So you have to make.
So you just have to.
You just have to assume.
Isn't
what
that a
happened.
bad thing? To just jump to conclusions?
Well, yes, but you have no choice
Why?
because there's nothing else to do. There's no other recourse. There's no other option. What else are you going to do?
If the court system couldn't prove it, we're just gonna go. She's guilty anyway because there's no other.
We can say that, but she's innocent.
What if there's another? What if other evidence comes out?
Then she can get tried again. Maybe I don't know. I guess she can't. Double jeopardy, right?
Well, yeah, but what if what if she didn't really have anything to do with it, and there's new evidence that goes after a new defendant, and
Then you find that defendant, right? If that happened, then maybe
And
that
if
person
that
gets
story
tried.
feels
and
better?
and maybe then this person actually did it. Maybe whoever actually did whatever, right? Then after that, after we say to Casey Anthony, "Wow, we were wrong," you were right. Why the fuck didn't you say anything in the first place about this, that, and the third, and all these other things that you was just quiet about for 30 days?
that's true.
You know what I mean? I still want to know that.
That's true.
Whatever it is. I apologize. You're right. You didn't. If we find out you had nothing to do with it, what in the world? What were you doing for that 30 days? Why? Why this? Why that? That's what I would say to that in those moments. But since we can't get any of that, since she's innocent and those questions still don't get answered, then to us, to most people that I know, she's guilty of something more than lying to the police is what you went to jail for. Time served.
At first, I was completely on Thompson's side, right? Just glossing over the evidence. Like when Thompson brought up the idea of Casey Anthony, I was like, "Oh yeah, of course, this is another white bitch that killed her daughter."
I didn't say that.
No, I that's what I thought in my head. I wouldn't say that out loud like I just did, but that's what I literally thought.
I wouldn't say it out.
That's what I thought in my head. I'm gonna be honest. Like I said, it's an ever upcoming thing where this happens. But then when you dive deep into the story and you ask the question, Sway, and you find out the real answers, there are no real answers. And even the prosecution, just like in the Trayvon Martin case, if there's no smoking gun or crazy evidence, why are we inventing a narrative that is harder to prove in the simple mind than a group full of scientists? Like, we don't have a jury full of scientists, we don't have a jury full of investigators. We have basically a jury of their peers, right? So why do we set ourselves up as a society, as a judicial systems, for situations like this, instead of just looking at it like a human thing, like maybe it was just a manslaughter thing. We can't come up with the real evidence. We know that the baby died. We found her body, and the only one that's lying to us is Casey Anthony. We don't know how it happened, so we maybe just have to hit her with a negligence charge or a manslaughter charge, right? Like, why can't we just be happy enough with a smaller outcome? Maybe she just served 5 to 15 years and gets out on it. But me and you are not at the family's house while this was going on, obviously, right?
Yeah.
And neither is the rest of the world. And if there's no real evidence, if it's not cut and dry,
Because she's lying. Because
Yeah,
she's
but it's
lying.
not
And
that
she doesn't
simple.
do
So
anything for
many
30
other
days.
people-
And then she goes and parties and gets fucking tattoos and
but
is
that's a
having a great
narrative that the
time.
media painted.
No, that's what happened.
That's a narrative that the media painted.
And her mother.
There's 30 days.
And her
31
mother.
days.
Her mother talked about how at first she said she was living with a friend, right? And then after she hadn't seen her granddaughter for a couple of weeks, she needed to talk to her. It seemed like every time she tried to talk to her, she'd be off somewhere. So she's going to talk to her later. Every time she tried to come by, Casey would either have car trouble or something would happen to where she
Well,
couldn't
isn't
come
that
by.
what triggered the family to go find her?
To
'Cause
go
they got
find
the
her,
car.
yeah.
They found the car. It was abandoned.
And they were trying to like, well, what's up? And then she confronted her, and she still didn't get clear answer. And then when she put her in the car and said, "Take me to her," Zanny the nanny, take me to this nanny. It was clear. This is like the mother saying this.
Right.
It was clear that I wasn't going to see her. She
Okay.
wasn't going to take me to it. And then you hear her on the phone, and she says, basically, I gotta hear it again, but like it's almost like, oh, it's true. Like what I thought is true. She is missing. And then
Okay.
Casey says she's been missing
So-
for 31 days.
I agree that there was.
So that's why the question to what you're saying to why do we think she did it, or why?
No. My
why
question
we're assuming
was
she did it
why,
because she's
why-
lying.
No, I understand that, and I agree
Yeah,
with
okay.
you. Why did we choose as the government to go after her with an intentional? When you get tried for first degree murder, is what she got tried for.
Right.
You have to prove intention.
Right.
It's a methodical thing. She went over. She put together the chloroform. Yeah. She sedated the baby, and then she suffocated the baby, and the baby died. She left the baby in the trunk. But it's all speculation.
Right.
Because there was no evidence for any of these things other than these cockamamie ideas like chloroform, which if you're just a regular person, you know that if you do some research on chloroform, which I did, you know,
And
as
which
a regular
somebody on the computer did too.
right. But you realize that it's a hard thing to do.
It's a hard thing to like prove.
Okay, so if you are a prosecutor and you're understanding that, why are we dealing with emotions and passions and building a narrative and a fairy tale story instead of just prosecuting for manslaughter?
I don't know because
And
I'm not a
negligence.
prosecutor, but I would guess because that's not enough in most people's eyes to just get 5 years or something like that. If you did,
that's the
if you
problem
did something
with
bad to your
society.
daughter,
If we're not there to know exactly what happened and there's no evidence beyond a reasonable doubt,
Right.
then we should have to accept the fact that she should only get manslaughter then.
yeah, I mean, we have to accept that anyway. But what I'm saying is, if you, and it seems like we have this kind of conversation all the time, where to me it seems simple that if you don't say something. I was telling my son today. He asked me what were we talking about on the podcast today. I was like, I go see Peans, and I was like, Casey Anthony. He's like, who's Casey Anthony? And I told him who Casey Anthony is, and he was saying, why? Not why does it matter, but like even him as like a 14-year-old was like, don't babies die all the time? Like, why are you talking about this one specific one, right? Even him as a 14-year-old,
Wow.
right? And he wasn't saying it in a mean way. He was just like, what makes her special? And I was just saying that it seems like she did it, even though there's no evidence that she did. And he goes, well, what do you mean? I'm like, if you go missing, right? I guarantee you 31 days later, everybody and their mama is going to know. It's not going to be just some new information that's coming to light. Like the police are going to know hours after you go missing. Like, I don't give a shit if I just can't find, you know what I mean? Like, that's why to most people, she did something, and you have to accept that she got off because the judicial system seemingly failed us or whatever, or maybe because there was no evidence it was correct or whatever. But the fact that she doesn't say anything for that long a time and goes out and parties in that time period,
None of that is a crime.
gets a tattoo,
None of that is a crime.
but that makes you a certain type of person. Yes, absolutely. If your daughter's seemingly missing, you haven't seen her, and you just go out and party, that you're a bad person. You're a bad mother. Boom.
But let's add some context to that. How old was Casey Anthony?
I don't give a
was
shit.
20.
She's 16.
She's 22.
I don't care if she's 15. I don't care what age she is. I hope that's terrible, bro. Like, that's terrible. If they're missing, like at a grocery store for minutes and you don't know where they are and you go off and have a good time, you're a bad person. Let alone a month.
But you're not a criminal.
Technically, no. But that's why the assumption happens. But that's why people say she must have had something to do with it.
I guess then thank God for the judicial system in that respect.
I agree, because there's a flip side of that, like you're saying.
Right.
But that's why
all
the
I'm
assumption
saying.
on her. No, I agree. I agree that is not the right way to like do things.
On all levels, right? Humanity, we just prove that we judge things, right? And if we seen things as a little kid, that like just like your son said, like another baby died, right?
Yeah.
But we built an emotion attachment because we put ourselves in those shoes, right?
For sure.
Well, not only do we do that, and it's okay for us to do that because we're just regular people, but the media does that.
Judge does it too.
Okay, the judge does it, the prosecution does it, the defense does it, and that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you on the human level, but if we want to proceed, in Florida as this great state of justice, then we also have to,
Who is that? Who said that?
I mean, we have to be real Floridians here.
How, Sway? Take a few steps back to go.
You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers.
Kanye.
You ain't got the answers.
All right, listen.
Kanye's gonna be our president,
Bro, man, and it's scary too because there's a strong possibility, right?
And that's to see. My thing is that I do agree that Casey was complicit in some ways, but because there's no evidence, and because the Orlando Police Department
you're saying
County
all the evidence
Sheriff,
is circumstantial and not very strong.
Well,
but there's some evidence, right?
Why not just be simple about the prosecution and just go after a manslaughter plea and try to prove negligence? Yes, she's not going to go to jail forever, but that's all we can prove. And if we allow ourselves to be egotistical and say, no, I'm going to bring in the witch and I'm going to prosecute her to the end, and I can prove this because I know I can tell a good story. You know what I mean? That's the wrong part in this situation. And then, everybody knows the Casey Anthony story, so I didn't want to jump into the average facts. We're going to go into some of the context of the story, but I wanted to also talk about these ancillary stories that revolve around stories like this that people benefit off of in certain ways, and it drives a certain morality barrier in the story that pushes people on either narrative or where you want to stand. You know what I mean? And that's what I learned at the beginning. I was very crazy white bitch killed her baby, scenario mindset, and at the end of it, I'm very confused in the way that it was prosecuted, confused in the story, confused about the family. There's a lot of misunderstanding even within the family. Like, did the father molest her? Did the father know about the baby? Was there a drowning? Was there abuse in the household? There's definitely evidence about it, So again, like I always talk about the culture. The culture is what breeds these type of people. If Casey, these are all assumptions that have already been brought to the public. So what I'm about to say is just a different, like I said, sides that you can choose. Now, there's a narrative that's painted that if Casey was abused as a little girl, like the way her attorney Jose Baez painted, that George Anthony was an abusive father
From the age of 8.
from 8 to 12 or something to that. He says that he couldn't get the full story out of Casey. Casey,
bro, that's what I'm talking about, bro. That's what she isn't telling the truth. That's how. That's
so
you can't, somebody just lied.
Hold on, 2 seconds. 2 seconds. It has been proven in psychology that when you're abused as a little kid, that you can build a certain. It can foster trauma, right? And it also can foster PTSD. It also can foster schizophrenic disorder, paranoid schizophrenia, where you develop personality disorder and you compartmentalize certain things. So if Casey was being abused, is there any way that she was compartmentalizing things? And let's say there was an accident. Let's say the Zanny situation was a metaphor for a Xanax that was given to the child, and the child was given, again, this is fucked up parenting shit, but it's not murder, okay? It's, I'm a young parent that should not be a parent, and so the narrative I'm painting that she gave the kid too much Xanax. It was something that she ritualized.
It's still murder.
It was something that was ritualized, okay?
Yeah.
And she did it a lot, so she developed the metaphor, like every time I need to put little Caylee to bed, I'm going to give her a Xanax bar. That's her nanny, the Zanny, okay? I want to go out party. I want to do. I don't want to be judged by my parents and say that I can't take care of my kid.
Can't.
No one's saying she's a good mother. I'm building the story.
No, I'm just to what you're building. I'm just
commenting. You don't think that the prosecution could have drove that narrative and maybe got a manslaughter charge instead of
that part I don't know
parading into the judicial system with this like pressure of putting 6 people on the jury to basically put a young mother on the death penalty.
They obviously made some missteps and they made some mistakes because they lost. You know what I mean? So they obviously could have done something better. What? I don't know. I'm not a prosecutor, so I wouldn't know.
If you were on the jury, would you be able to put Casey Anthony to death?
Yes, absolutely. To death, I don't know. About killing people, that's not what I'm talking about. But saying she was guilty for sure.
No, but that's what happened.
Yeah, no. I know that was the death penalty.
That's another reason why a lot of the jury couldn't go with the full first degree murder, because you're going to tell me that she died because of chloroform, but it's, she doesn't even know how to distill chloroform. How could she make chloroform? Another question is, she suffocated her with the duct tape. Okay, but there was no DNA evidence.
Nope.
No one could even prove if the body was actually in the car.
Right, because it's just trash in the
hair
car
and stuff like that, but they couldn't beyond conclusive evidence.
Right.
Nobody knows.
No, for sure. Again, what I always go back to, and the reason I would be able to say she was guilty if I was in the jury pool or whatever, is because of her lying. Her not being forthright. And again, if I'm in a store and my jury
felt like that, but they didn't go through with it because they didn't want to
kill her.
Right.
And again, that's a conversation I'm going to have as a juror in me and those 11 other people, and then I'm going to make that decision game time. I can't make that one right now. That's game time decision with all the information literally sitting in front of me and all of the lawyer and me right now. Again, my son goes missing for minutes somewhere. Everybody and their mother's going to know about it. If my son goes missing, I don't say anything for a month. I don't care what anybody tells me, bro. She's lying, and why is she lying? Then all the bad stuff starts assuming in my brain. If you can't tell me something about those 30 days and why that happened, there's more than 2 days, bro. That's a terrible mother. Now, that's not a crime, but that's enough for me to assume she did something. If I got no other evidence, you guilty as hell, bro. Unless you're going to tell me something. Tell me something.
What about George Anthony? You think he was complicit in anything? You think he did abuse her in any way?
I don't know. I have no idea. It seems like he's talking when people ask him questions. Direct questions. He's answering these questions. Is he lying? I can't tell if she's lying for sure. If she's lying or telling the truth, all I know is for that period of time, she's not saying things. She's saying shit like it'll all work itself out. What does that mean? Where's your kid at, bro? You don't know? Why has it been 30 days? George Anthony, they ask him a question, he answers a question. Is he telling the truth? I don't know, but at least he answered the damn question, bro.
Do you know about all the fathers that are associated with Caylee Anthony?
There's a couple what ifs, right? Like, who is it? We don't know.
From InTouchWeekly.com.
Oh, let us know.
Casey Anthony will reportedly never reveal the identity of Caylee's biological father. It's been a little more than 10 years since Caylee Anthony's remains were found in a trash bag near her family's home, but people still have questions surrounding her death, like who is Caylee Anthony's father? While many of the details surrounding Casey Anthony's trial are clouded in mystery, this one is arguably the most intriguing of all. But true crime aficionados aren't the only ones in the dark about Caylee's paternity, and sources close to Casey revealed that not even the people closest to her know. I don't know who the father was. She doesn't talk about it. She will never tell anyone. She'll take that secret to the grave, an insider revealed to People opens a new window, and hinted that Casey might not even be sure who was her baby daddy. If she knows who the father is, she's not telling. While we may never know for sure who is responsible for Caylee's paternity, several men have either come forward or been named as possible contenders.
This is where it gets crazy.
Jesus Ortiz. Shortly after Caylee went missing, her maternal grandma, Cindy Anthony, told the media that Caylee's father was in a terrible car accident. He is deceased, and one person fit the bill, 21-year-old Jesus Ortiz, who Casey had casually dated before his death in 2007, died from injuries sustained in an automobile accident.
This is the first
Casey
boyfriend.
herself reportedly told friends that her former high school classmate was the father of her child. When his family heard the news, they were shocked, since they claim Casey never hinted at the possibility that he fathered her child until after she entered the public eye because of her daughter's disappearance, death, and subsequent trial. Miss Anthony never told the family Jesus was the father or that he might be the father, the family said in a statement. In fact, the family has never met her and does not know her. A colleague named Josh. A woman named Melina Calabrese, a friend of Caylee, testified that Caylee confided in her that she became pregnant after having a one-night stand with a man named Josh, who worked at Universal Studios alongside Caylee. According to Caylee's pal, he also died in a car crash in 2007. Of course, it was later revealed that Caylee was lying to police about working at Universal Studios. Eric Baker. Eric Baker is another candidate, who tragically met his demise in a 2007 car crash. During the trial, Cindy Anthony testified that an Eric Baker from either Kentucky or North Carolina
that's
fathered
3
her
men that have been in a
granddaughter.
car accident.
When Eric Baker's mother heard this, however, she said that she had never heard of Caylee before her son's name was dropped during the testimony, adding that her son would have been a teenager at the time Caylee was conceived. Jesse Grund. Jesse Grund was once engaged to Caylee, and during much of her pregnancy and nearly all of little Caylee's life, he assumed the role of father, after Caylee told him the baby was his, even though the timing of her conception didn't quite line up with their relationship. Eventually, a DNA test confirmed that he was not the father. I petitioned for a paternity test, and there was a 0% probability, he said on the Today Show. My attitude was, until the paternity test comes out, I'm not going to waste time or miss out if this really is my child. Lee Anthony. During the trial, Caylee's own brother was brought on the stand to testify and had to submit a DNA test to confirm that he wasn't the child's father. Fortunately, the DNA test confirmed that he was not Caylee's father. George Anthony. Caylee's defense attorney, Jose Baez, also had Caylee's own father submit a DNA test to prove he didn't father Caylee after making multiple allegations that he began sexually assaulting his daughter at a young age. While the paternity test confirmed he didn't father Caylee, Baez has continued to allege that the former law enforcement official regularly abused his daughter until she was 12. Michael Duggan. Perhaps the least likely candidate is Michael Duggan, another young man who sadly died in a car accident in 2007. His mother, Donna, came forward during the media circus surrounding Caylee's murder trial.
Wait, how many of these guys actually died? How many guys actually exist and died in a car accident? Regardless if all of them actually existed.
Yes.
And all of them actually died.
Yes.
And all of these are the ones she chose to say.
They're all associated with Caylee. The thing is that she was a liar before the murder, too.
Oh, yeah.
And she invented a lot of hypothetical stories. She told her parents she worked at Universal Studios for 2 years. And she would just wake up and drive somewhere every day with little Caylee.
But how you trick somebody?
That's
you got
what
to
I'm trying to tell you, Thompson. We're not dealing with Thompson here. You're a regular fucking person.
Mm-hmm.
We're dealing with somebody that's mentally unstable,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And if she is mentally unstable, why aren't her parents knowing this? You don't think they realize this as she's a little girl? She just start making up things all of a sudden? To me, there's some type of trauma going on within that family. You know? Why would Jose make them take tests? You know, I get he's a genius attorney, supposedly.
Nah, hell no.
Okay, so where do these ideas come from?
About? Saw him on the whiteboard during the trial, trying to write shit on the whiteboard. Not a genius.
He beat the system, though.
He did. He won.
Did he play that role? You know, is this all a fallacy?
Like Columbo, like the Columbo of lawyers.
I don't know. I don't know, but he definitely was very clever into dropping these hints of doubt.
You know how you get like a bucket of paint and throw it up on the wall and call it art?
You don't think that in any way, shape,
as long as it wasn't on his client, he would have pointed at you who did it, bro. I think Peans did it. Who's Peans?
I think if we caught her in lies just after the murder and there wasn't any pure example of it.
Bro, she's a piece of shit before, right? She wanted to party. Something happened to her child, either something she did, accidental, whatever it was.
Everybody said she was a partier, but nobody ever said she was a bad mother.
That's true. That's very true. That's very true.
Even the prosecution witness.
Even the people who thought she had a job at Universal for 2 years. Great mother.
So,
and being there is half the battle for sure.
Maybe maybe she's schizophrenic, bro.
Maybe she was sick. But you don't say anything for 30 days, sick or not. Sorry, bro. At some point in that 30 days, you had a moment of clarity or some lucidity or something.
Man. I get it, bro. I mean,
Sorry, bro. It's such a long time, dog. It's such a long time. Your entire body reproduces skin cells in that amount of time. Isn't that true? Like every 30 days? I don't know. That was a meme. I don't know if that's true or not. That's a meme. Fuck that, man. Sorry.
It's a little girl, and it's a little girl.
It's a little girl and it's a young woman. Yes. Yeah. She knows how to go out and fabricate stories pretty well. You know?
Is she fabricating?
Yeah.
What if she really believed this stuff? Maybe she was.
It's still a fabrication, even if she believes it. I'm sorry. It's still murder, even if it's accidental. I'm sorry. It's still murder. Oops. It's still murder. It's still a lie, even if I believe it. Sorry. You know what I mean? I don't mean to be like whatever, but
no,
it just is.
You're a parent, so
I know. That's probably why I feel so like.
No,
dog.
I get it.
I turn around. He's not. Hey, where's he at? Hey, where's he at? Hey, where you at? Hey, you seen this little? You know, that's right away.
Nah, yeah.
That's right away.
Yeah.
So, a day. Sorry. A minute. An hour. Hours. A night. You went to sleep that night? How you go to sleep? You don't know where your kid's at. That's weird. I could not sleep if I don't know where he is. At least where he is. I don't need to know what he's doing all the time, but I need to know where he at.
I've been around.
She didn't know where he at, and she lied about it. So I'm assuming she bad.
We know you're a good dad.
Yeah, but it's not even that. It's not about me being a good dad.
It is that.
No,
That's
it's not even about
norm.
that.
That's not the norm, Thompson.
Sure it is. I think that the vast majority of people in the United States are good parents, even if they aren't great parents.
Right.
They're good parents.
But
if not, then you'd have a bunch of serial killers.
We're not perfect.
Nobody's perfect.
People make mistakes.
People make mistakes.
What about you throw the bacon on top of that of schizophrenia?
The bacon, the schizophrenia bacon, and it starts to sizzle. So she's a bad parent, and she's young, and she's a liar, and she's sick. That's why.
She might have been abused as a little girl.
Okay, so, but what about all of that makes her not guilty?
I've never tried to jump on the bandwagon of not guilty. I've never said that she was not complicit. There's definitely a lot of evidence that go towards that, but there's no evidence that said that she murdered the baby.
No, because we don't know all the way how it happened or what happened.
Yeah, bro.
But the assumption is an assumption, and we've established that from the beginning. Allegedly, or whatever. That's all. I said it 1,000 times. That part where you don't say anything for such a long time, you go out and party.
That part.
Sorry, man. That
part.
I'm just never. I can't get past that, man.
It's hard too because it makes you look how cute that is.
Plus, there's no documented. There's no documented sickness. There's no documented. Is she taking meds besides the Xanax?
What if she did drown in the pool? Remember that defense?
Yeah.
Anthony's legal team offered an explanation for her 30 days of not knowing where Caylee was, saying Caylee's death was accidental.
She never was missing. Caylee Anthony died on June 16, 2008, when she drowned in her family's swimming pool.
And Jose Baez told jurors it was Anthony's father, George, who first found Caylee drowned.
She saw George Anthony holding Caylee in his arms. She immediately grabbed Caylee and began to cry and cry and cry. And shortly thereafter, George began to yell at her. "Look what you've done! Your mother will never forgive you, and you will go to jail for child neglect for the rest of your freaking life."
But that wasn't the only claim about George Anthony.
This family must keep its secrets quiet. And it all began when Casey was 8 years old and her father came into her room and began to touch her inappropriately.
Perhaps reacting to the allegation made in the defense's opening statement that Casey Anthony's father abused her while she was a child.
None of that's plausible?
No, it is. It is plausible, for sure.
Maybe she was like so heartbroken. Maybe she does have a pride factor of not being a good mom, and that's why she covered it up for 30 days.
That's possible. It is a possibility. So how are you such a good liar? Why you're such a good liar when you're like
maybe she's not lying.
interrogation?
Maybe she's schizophrenic. Like
so she's better
remember
right
that
now.
Split.
So like at this moment here,
Remember that movie Split?
I do remember the movie Split.
You don't think that's possible?
So at this moment here, when she's sitting in the courtroom, that's healthy Caylee, Casey.
No, that's a personality that she developed to protect herself in the court to get through it.
Nah, bro. All this is too convenient, man. I'm sorry. Like you're crazy, but you're like, oh, I'm a like set up this whole scenario where I can party for a while. Crazy. I'm gonna lie to people about where my daughter is. It all works out too well for her. If she's just crazy,
try to commit suicide.
Where's the blowback on her? Yeah, I know. Where's the blowback on her? If she's like crazy, at what point does her crazy affect her?
I just know that if the jury couldn't figure it out,
It's just affecting everybody except her, bro. It's nothing's landing on her at all.
no, it is.
What? Allegations,
Well,
rightfully so, but
yeah,
like,
I mean-
what's landing on her?
What the fact that she was part of it in some way, but maybe she didn't have control over the situation.
No, what? But what? How? Where's her effect? Like, if she's crazy, sorry, that's probably not even the right word to use. If she's sick,
Mentally
Right.
disturbed.
if she's sick, and these scenarios keep happening that she's need to protect herself from, where's her? Like, where does it affect her? Like, how negatively?
I mean, she's hurt by the loss of her daughter.
Is she? She sleeps pretty well, is
You
how
heard-
she put it.
Yeah, there was a new.
She sleeps pretty well.
I think we can bring that up. So
You know what I mean?
It's good that you brought that up. There's actually interview with the Associated Press. This is about 10 years after. So this happened about a year ago, and they basically. It's not like a full-on interview. You just get like scattered type of deal. But to me, it does. I'll let you guys listen to it. Because it does come off.
And if she's worried about her daughter or sad about her daughter accidentally dying, why she get the good life tattoo 2 weeks after she's allegedly missing?
A beautiful life.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't know, man. People have different ways of covering up hurt.
Look, all that shit, bro. Come on. Nah.
First-degree murder, verdict as to count 1. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty, so say we
In
all.
2011, Casey Anthony was acquitted of first-degree murder in the death of her 2-year-old daughter, Caylee.
But you were also convicted of one thing.
Lying to the cops.
Right.
People lie to the cops every day. Cops lie to people every day.
See what I'm saying?
Just one of the unfortunate idiots who admitted that they lied.
Oh my God.
For the first time, Anthony is speaking to a news
Don't-
media outlet about Caylee's
You
death.
don't answer
in
shit
a
like that.
series
if
of
you-
recorded
if you're
interviews.
innocent. You don't answer. You kill them. They died. Somebody dies, right? Somebody who's an enemy of yours dies, right? Everybody thinks you did it. No evidence that you did it, right? Somebody says they got shot. So-and-so got shot. You say people get shot every day, bro. And it's like, that doesn't mean you did it. That doesn't mean you did it. But like, that don't look very good. And if you didn't do it, you should be saying something to the effect of, that is terrible that he lost his life.
This could be one of her
To
personalities.
show
though.
some of schizo. I don't believe that shit for a second. That's something you're just thinking about. I don't believe that for a second. It's too convenient, man. Where's the, look at this. If you listen to the interview after of the guy, who the journalist did it like another interview
on Inside Edition, yeah.
afterwards,
I got that.
and said, all this seemed like for my benefit. Like the way she was talking seemed like it was for me. Look at this.
But what if she's a conditioned individual? Her father was a cop. That's
Yep.
what she says.
Mhm.
It's like, my dad's a cop. Of course I'm going to be able to answer these the right way or the wrong way or whatever,
Mhm.
right? What if she was a conditioned person? This is how she knows how to act for her daddy. You know, so she knows how to put on this persona when the media comes around. She doesn't know how to be herself.
Yeah.
She's a paranoid, delusional, schizophrenic.
How is it affecting her negatively?
It does. People like that have, it's like a sociopath, right?
It's so
How does-
convenient that none of it is affecting her.
those terms shouldn't exist then.
What term?
Paranoid.
No.
Delusional schizophrenia.
A lot of these cats is homeless. You know what I mean? They can't walk from here to there without it making a travesty upon everybody around them by either digging somewhere they shouldn't be digging or seeing something
but then it goes back to say if that was the case, then maybe it's the parents' fault for.
Oh, bro. I think that as far as it's her getting abused when she was young, and I don't know, who can tell?
Check this out what she says, though.
With the Associated Press, Anthony said she knows much of the world believes she killed her daughter, despite her acquittal.
I see why I was treated the way that I was, even had I been completely truthful with those officers.
What weren't you truthful about? And I understand it might have been out of panic.
It was things that I didn't know at the time.
Caylee was last seen on June 16th, 2008. Anthony's mother reported her missing a month later.
Her mother finally admitted that she's been missing.
The next day, Anthony was arrested on charges of child neglect. She told police Caylee had disappeared with a babysitter.
I'm still not even certain as I stand here today about what happened.
During the trial, the defense team argued Caylee had drowned and Anthony covered it up with her father. Just this month, the former judge who presided at the trial theorized that Anthony may have killed her daughter accidentally when she was using chloroform to calm her. Her lawyer quickly dismissed that.
To your understanding, how did she die?
I don't know.
You don't know? Something about drowning, possibly.
Everyone else has their theories.
But wasn't that the one she presented during the case?
Bias presented.
No, that's her though. Bias is her.
And next thing you know, she's missing. Right? How did it play?
I did what I was told. I don't remember too much.
Bullshit. Again.
Happened.
I don't believe that for a second, bro.
She was sleeping when her daughter vanished.
Give me the situation when things went wrong. When did things go wrong?
I don't buy this shit.
All of a sudden, it's like, where's Caylee? Like, is that how it went?
No, what I remember is being in bed, my mom coming in before she left for work and saying goodbye to us. And then waking up several hours later. And
later in the morning.
Hour, 2 hours later, and not knowing where she was.
Don't you wish you know what happened?
Absolutely.
The 30-year-old Anthony now lives in the South Florida home of the lead investigator who worked on her case. She works for him in assisting attorneys representing criminal defendants.
One of the reasons I'm so good at my job is because I'm taking everything that the state tried to use against me, like my Facebook and pictures and all that stuff that they distorted. I now go through and research people's backgrounds and put everything together in a good way.
While Anthony says she still doesn't know what happened in the last hours of Caylee's life, she's not fazed that others are convinced of her guilt.
I don't give a shit about what anybody thinks about me. I don't care about that.
It's good she doesn't.
I'm okay with myself. I sleep
pretty good.
Pretty good at night.
Pretty good at night.
Josh Replogel, The Associated Press.
That part did sound a little...
yeah, that part, right?
That part right there.
That part was too
I'll
good.
go with you on that part. I mean, there's just so many different things that make you go, I mean...
Like what?
Have you ever heard of Roy Knox?
Yeah.
Who's Roy Knox?
Roy Knox is like a meter reader or something like that, who apparently takes a piss in the same place every day or something like that along a random road. And this particular piss took him on a walk into the woods, at which point he apparently pissed on the remains of Caylee Anthony.
Okay, how many times did this gentleman... Now, I want to say this is alleged. Roy is a Floridian, and if you are ever listening to this, we don't know, buddy. We're just going with the facts.
And is that accurate, what I said? I don't remember all the way.
So this is what I heard. Like that's what you heard. This is what I heard, right? What I heard.
So that's what I remember, sort of. I don't know if that's what I heard all the way.
This is what I remember, sort of, allegedly. In August, Roy calls the cops and said, hey, I think I know where the body's at. I think this would be a good... He said just... You know, I go down this place all the time. It's near the Casey Anthony home, and I would drop it. Or not, he didn't say that, but if somebody was to dispose of a body, this would be a good place. It's kind of the context of what he said. In August, it's really wet, so the cops can't get out there. There's rattlesnakes. He takes a picture of a rattlesnake, sends it to the cops. Cops is like, First time he calls, he wants to be, what's it called, anonymous. Second, nobody answers the anonymous call, right? He just calls, leaves a message, nobody calls him back. The second time, they tell him to call Crime Stoppers. When he calls Crime Stoppers, he has to leave his name. They ask him to meet a detective out there or an officer. The officer gets there, sees that it's rainy as hell. He's like, I'm not going to go there. All right. In November, according to his illegitimate son, it's a son that he doesn't stay in contact with a lot, but apparently he wanted to talk to him about this scenario. And he told him that I'm gonna be, you're gonna see me on the news soon because I found something like a body or something. And the son didn't put two and two together until a couple weeks later in December, where this Roy guy calls the cops and say, hey, I was taking a piss out here. Well, he actually radios in to his department because he works for the city. And he says, hey, I was out in this area and I found the skull. And if you hear the radio, so he said, I found the skull and I'm going to play the radio dispatch. But the guy on the dispatch goes, okay, I'll report it in, and then comes back and goes, Ray, I told you we were going to find it there. And Roy comes back and says, no, I told you I was going to find it here. Right? Mm-hmm. So then the cops come. It's now December. The area is a lot drier. Roy says tells the cops he was out here taking a piss, stumbled onto this bag, and seen that there was a skull there. He moved the skull with a stick and put it in the eye and lifted it gently, he says, and then waited for the cops. Called it into the radio like I told you and waited for the cops. The guy, his dispatcher that I told you, told him, I told you we're going to find it, where he had the little discourse with, actually radios the 911 call. So that's what you hear the 911 call about, hey, one of my workers found the skull. Mm-hmm. Now, the back context to this guy is that he's known about this location for a few months now. Now, who dropped the ball here? Was it the cops being lazy, or maybe they didn't want to go in there because of the rain and the rattlesnakes? Or did this guy have anything to do with the body? Because he was already talking about that he knew where the body was. He told his son before he showed up in December with the cop that he had found it already. So apparently he had already seen the body before the final time with the cop. The thing is that he never got prosecuted. He admittedly told the police that he was involved in a kidnapping in the early 90s, but it was expunged from his record. But he felt like he had to say that.
Because he was a kid?
He was younger. I don't think he was a kid, but he was involved in a kidnapping. Now, there's also an ex-wife in Tennessee that was interviewed by Jose Baez that says that she was abused, and he duct taped her one time. And there was also her daughter that lived in the house that felt not abused, but sexually harassed in some way.
Yeah.
So the reason why I bring it up is that it's just kind of eerie that this guy found the body supposedly
his
in
excuse
August
for being out there is definitely kind of weak.
And he has a weird kind of background.
It's like, I used to pee. That's just the spot I pee or whatever. But it's like into the woods a little bit. It's not like by the road or anything. Like maybe you got to pee by the road. You get out.
And he had already been telling people that he had a hunch that it was there. Like I said, the guy.
Well, if you look at a map of the Casey Anthony house, like a bird's eye view of the map, it just is the best place in that area to put a body if you're going to put a body somewhere. Now, obviously, if I'm like going to murder somebody, I'm not going to put it down the street from my house, but like, it is what it is, I guess.
What? Like, how would you, I mean.
If you look at the overhead with the
woods. You jump to that conclusion?
I didn't ask like a cop or a murderer or anything. I'm just saying, like, in my regular dude brain, if I'm looking at a bird's eye view of where their house is in like near whatever, that group of woods seems like the best possible place.
Why wouldn't the cops think that?
I don't know. Maybe they did, but maybe it wasn't laziness. Maybe it was the fact that they just couldn't physically get in there to do a correct investigation. It's not. I wouldn't call the cops lazy necessarily.
My shit's freezing up here, but I was gonna show you guys the recording message. So this is obviously a whole left that I've taken down the story. Nobody prosecuted this guy.
Yeah, because he got an alibi. That's why he ended up not. Because they wanted to know if he was a.
Well, yeah, if he
did anything, but
they try to try him or like bring him under questioning.
I don't remember what it was exactly, but not an alibi. He didn't have an alibi. Why did they not try? They definitely dismissed him as a suspect early on
because they were too gung ho about.
Because they knew Casey had done it because she lied.
Well, they already had put all these resources towards it. Like,
hey man, just tell the truth from the beginning. Report your daughter.
All right, so listen to this dispatch.
Transcription is tedious and time-consuming work for busy professionals.
In 3 seconds. In 2
Rev
seconds.
takes the hassle out of
In 1
converting
second.
your audio files.
3971. Hey, this is the Field Web Utilities channel. What do you... Go ahead, Roy. Roger that. I just found a human skull on Suburban Drive in the woods by the school.
I just found
a human skull.
Okay, let me get dispatch and get to the
He
authorities
didn't
out
just
there.
found
Hold on.
because how did he just found?
Roger that.
Now watch. Everything's all professional. And then his homie comes back. I told you.
No, I told you she was here. Hold on. Roger that.
So if he's a meter reader, right?
I told you, man. No, I told you she was here.
So if those two guys are meter readers, they read meters in a certain area. That's like their job.
They were talking about it.
So the whole time it's like, oh, that house is in our zone or whatever. Now these guys are just two dudes just shooting shit back and forth, pontificating, right? Just guessing, just talking like us about things, about just assuming. And they're like, well, where would we do it? Where would I? Like I said, no, they can't guess. They don't do guesswork.
Not like that.
Why not? People do that shit all the time.
If you're that type of person.
No, just generally, because we watch crime story dramas. We watch Law and Order Special Victims Unit. Like, not maybe I do that, and I'm not a murderer. I do that.
I don't plot and be like, well,
that's not plotting. That's not plotting. If something happens,
not plotting, but I don't know. I wouldn't jump to that conclusion. And be like, that's where the body would be.
No, if you're saying, well, then you're one of the people that wouldn't. That's true.
Right.
But people do that all the time. If I were the person murdering this person, where would I put that? Why would they do that? I wouldn't do that if I was the person murdering. That's what they did. He's in the area. He knows what the zone is. He knows the area. Mm-hmm. So he says, just like I did when I looked at the bird's eye view of the map, I say, that's probably the best place to do something in the immediate area. So he's saying, I bet you it's out there. I bet you it's out there. And you know what? Maybe he did go too far in there and search for it on his own.
A strange twist this morning in the murder case against Casey Anthony, the mother accused of killing her 2-year-old daughter Caylee in Orlando, Florida. CBS News correspondent Kelly Kobiea is at the courthouse in Orlando with the details. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning, Maggie. Casey Anthony's attorneys are asking a judge in this trial to allow them to present evidence that would point to a whole new theory in this crime, that the meter reader who helped police find little Caylee Anthony's body could be the killer.
I know that I haven't done anything wrong, so I don't have a reason to be fearful.
Roy Kronk was hailed as a hero last year for helping police find 2-year-old
So this goes to my point
Caylee.
before. So it's not she didn't drown. He killed her.
Maybe.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's either your defense is either this or that. But their defense was as long as it ain't her.
What if allegedly triple 3 times stack square root allegedly?
Got a big old bucket.
George Anthony was running an underground bordello and he was pimping his 2 daughters out of the house, and this gentleman Knox was one of the jobs.
Casey Anthony knows. Right now, she knows.
Hashtag Illuminati.
She knows right now. This garbage lawyer just pulled all types of garbage out his ass.
And won.
Testament to how well the judicial system
It wasn't
works.
just him. You got to give the guy Cheney Mason.
You talking about Colonel Sanders?
Was it Colonel Sanders?
Let me tell you something.
Before I jump off of Knox, though, listen to Knox's ex-wife. This is the only thing that kind of drove
Anthony's
me.
remains, but Casey Anthony's attorneys say they've uncovered a dark side.
Sometimes he would, walk in while I was putting my clothes on.
April Hensley was 11 years old when Kronk lived with her mother. She, along with two of Kronk's ex-wives, were interviewed by Anthony's defense team. They say Kronk has a history of being inappropriate with children and violent towards women.
When you learned that Roy Kronk had found the remains of Caylee Anthony, what went through your mind?
That he had done it.
Done it meaning?
He probably was the one that had murdered Caylee Anthony or had something to do with it.
Damn, dog. That is
Caylee.
It's a hateful ex-wife right there.
You think so?
Or that's a good assumption that he may have done it because she knows his history.
That's where I was.
Women.
I was like, yeah.
But again, him like,
but
thinking about it or whatever.
This is his son,
Roy Kronk's son,
that was testifying, and he said,
I'm Tom Steyer.
This is not his son.
Join a movement
stepson,
of
or this guy.
Americans.
This guy's not.
He doesn't.
This guy does not like Trump.
He's the most corrupt president in history.
Did your father state to you that he knew something about this case?
Yes, sir, it did. At the time, though, I was not aware that it was about the case.
Yes or no? Sustain the question, Counsel.
Yes, sir.
What did he tell you?
Damn, he's so amped.
He told me
to
that
question.
he knew where the remains were.
And when did he tell you this?
This was in November 2008.
How do you know it was in November 2008?
It was the time before December 11th when the epiphany that he mentioned the remains, but he never named the name to go with it. At the time, I thought it was far-fetched. So December 11th, when he called and told me that what they were mentioning on the news was him, that's when I had an inkling. And I immediately asked him, why didn't he go get it before? Why did he wait this long?
And what did he say?
He didn't have an answer.
Did he have make any other statements about this case?
No,
she
sir.
kind of looks like, oh shit, I just got off the hook.
Your father ever mentioned that he had found Caylee's skull?
Yes, sir, he did.
And was this prior to December 11th?
Yes, sir.
And how are you so sure that it happened in November?
Well, again, sir, the only significant event I would have to say that was in November was Thanksgiving. Prior to that, I had told my wife and I told my mother as well.
Do you hold any ill will against your father?
No, sir.
Did you at that time?
No, sir.
You didn't remember that it was in November of 2008 until you were reminded of that fact by your mother and your wife, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That's not something that you yourself have an independent recollection of.
Until December 11th.
Until December 11th?
So there's just a lot of like,
again,
weird shit nobody knows.
No, again, like, to me, this reads as somebody who's been in the area constantly all the time, sees on the news that this girl's missing or trying to figure it out. Him and his buddy are out there all the time taking pisses or whatever. And they're just like, this would be a good area for blah, 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 blah. He calls the cops, whatnot. He goes and does it himself. Goes and looks himself. Finds the body, knows where the body is, calls it in, tries to call it in, whatever, calls it in and gets the cops out there. Tells his son beforehand because, yeah, I think he went out there and found it. I don't think he went out there pissed on it by accident. I think he went out there and he came across it because he was right. I think he guessed where it was.
Because he's a creepy type of guy, but he's not murdery. He's creepy, but not murdery.
He's super weird. It seems like it. But, again, like, it doesn't seem to me like he did it. But I don't know. You know what I mean? He could have been like part of this thing about him being in the area. He may have seen her riding her bike or some shit.
Crazy baby mamas crazy old white men.
What are we classifying as kids?
Like children's.
What are we classifying as children?
Little children's. Chicken nuggets.
What age and under?
Happy Meal.
What age are we talking?
I don't
12?
know, yeah.
12?
Yeah.
Under 12?
How old is the max on the Happy Meal?
I think it's 12.
12?
I think so.
Yeah.
Women.
Women kill?
I would say more.
You think so?
Yeah.
The old white perv man?
We're talking about like as far as like sex crimes. See, the reason I ask for
murder.
children because, you know, there's 17-year-olds being killed in war by older white men all the time. You say white men? Did you say white men?
Babies, like children's, man. Like children's.
Yeah, probably women. Postpartum and all of that. I don't know. I have no idea.
That's a good one.
No idea. But
I don't know if the guy did it. There's just a lot of suspicion there.
No, I mean,
allegedly a whole lot.
I think
allegedly
Caylee did it
with some extra bacon.
I think Caylee did it, and his defense was just anybody except them. It was the grandfather. It was Roy Crunk. It was a pool. It was chloroform.
Do you think the attorneys, the media, the people that like galvanize this whole shit have any guilt in like the overarching part of just being a culprit and part of the story of just driving this narrative?
They weren't a culprit,
bro. They used to drive down the Orange County Courthouse. It was like a NASCAR racing pit.
Yeah,
each channel.
Because somebody had lost a daughter, and they lost the daughter, didn't say anything about it,
Like
lied
your
about
son
it.
said happens all the time.
Lost the daughter, didn't say anything about it. Still don't know everything. So much mystery around it. She's like a pretty girl, you know. She has the tattoo. It says La Crazy Life or whatever the hell. You know, there's just a lot of
Colonel Sanders defender.
Later on, he came later on.
How do we tell people
but
to get the
that
best
all of that
performance
kind of
of the
like,
script?
you know, it makes a good story. It makes a good narrative, and yeah, the media latched onto it as they do and they should.
That's
because
what I was saying from the get. Like sometimes we try people in the court of public opinion.
We do,
and that taints any possible real narrative like that. Because of that, now we got to go for the murder. We got to go for the first degree murder.
That's the prosecutor making that decision, and that's
But
maybe not right.
driven by society.
It is. They got kind of forced into that, just like Trayvon Martin's people got forced into that because
should have just been a manslaughter charge.
But again, to their defense, to the prosecution's defense or whatever, you know, they believed, as do most people, that she had more to do than what she's saying about it, so she needed to be punished for it. And they thought they could get her. They thought all those cats from Pinellas County would see what the hell was going down, and they obviously did not.
I'm just saying, like, Casey Anthony did have no money, and these attorneys were like, you know, I'm pretty sure that they were healthily rewarded by being associated with the case.
Well, apparently, and I think this came out like this year or the end of last year. And I don't remember this clearly because it kind of came up and went away, but there was some sort of like allegations that she was paying off her lawyer fees with like blowjobs and like hand jobs and like sexual favors and stuff.
To Jose Baez?
To Jose Baez.
What about, because these are the two attorneys.
Fox
You
News'
think she was
Geraldo
blowing
Rivera
both these guys?
Got an exclusive interview with Jose Baez.
I think
it
Geraldo
just
Rivera
sounds
was
so crazy.
Outside that courthouse
right?
in Orlando.
You think Geraldo Rivera gives blowjobs?
Oh, Geraldo.
I hope not. It must have
Martha,
some tickle.
It was a stunning moment, you know, as to how people are responding to it, whether they laughed or hugged. 3 years is a long time for this audience to see.
This dude here, Colonel Sanders over there, after they won.
Cheney Mason?
No, Colonel Sanders. After they won, they were like eating celebration drinks or something like that. They went like down to the local spot down the way from the courthouse, and then like, you know, the media follows them or whatever, so they're shooting through the doors. Payne Mason, he's over there like flicking off the camera and shit after they won. Yeah, man.
Among people that you know and in this community and across the country and the world is, if Casey Anthony didn't kill this child, who did kill this child?
Well, I think that all came out in the trial, that this was a horrible tragedy, an accident that snowballed out of control. And, you know, it doesn't get any more clearer than that.
The jury saw that.
Yeah, Thompson.
And they're the ones that heard all of the evidence, not the propaganda and the speculation and the.
And it was. I
Frankenstein-like,
freely admit that it is
lynch mob
speculation.
that,
I'm not saying it's not, man. I really am not. I promise you that I know that the way I'm looking at this is incorrect as far as like the way how I'm looking at it. I don't think I'm wrong, but I know that it isn't healthy or effective for the world to just go off of non-evidence and just because she didn't do this, then obviously this. I admit that. All that being said, fuck that shit. She did that shit. She did it. I don't know. Hit them all. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Whatever.
That's what these guys were playing.
You know what's crazy about this though? I can't stop this. Is that no matter what gets said, you know, that she's never ever going to have to like say everything that she knows. Like nobody's ever going to actually have to say everything they know. Ever.
Maybe people really don't know. She could just, you know,
bro,
split.
No, man, no, bro, no. You can't say she drowned and then say Roy Crunk did it. Also,
no, I said that she
not
might
you.
have drowned.
Oh, yeah. They said that.
Oh yeah,
they said both those things.
Well, yeah,
because they're fucking lying, and she's lying.
Trying to bring up reasonable doubt.
They're lying.
It's not really lying.
That is a lie.
Nah.
Yeah, it is.
Nah.
It's a bunch of theories they're just trying to throw out as long as it ain't her.
But it's not a lie.
How's it not a lie?
They're stating alternative facts.
Oh, here we go with the alternative facts shit. Goddamn lies.
It's a perception. I mean, that's the crazy thing.
Whatever
about
words you want to use
truth
for it,
and
bro.
reality.
Whatever words you want to
is
use
the
for
perception. Let's hear Colonel Sanders.
She sleeps
the
pretty
evidence,
well.
What our system is based on. And
Pretty well. Soldiers come home and sleep well after they murder a bunch of people sometimes.
You know, they're fighting a war. And no, they don't.
It is what it is.
So does Jeffrey Dahmer. Well, before he got murdered.
He's a psycho.
Happy for Casey, and we're happy that Caylee's.
They reinstated it to try to get an advantage. The fact of the matter is, it was never there. The news media, as you talked about, they hung her here daily for 2.5 years.
Because she lied.
Every channel,
She's
every
a liar.
outlet in this community and throughout the state, and I suspect
Her
around the
kid
country,
was missing and
was
she
convinced
lied.
She's guilty. That's just all rah-rah. And, of course, the biggest concern I have is the unprofessional contributions.
This
from
guy's like
lawyers who's supposed to
flicking
be
off the
members
camera
of
talking
bar,
about unprofessionalism.
talking about her
That's
guilt
hilarious.
and condemning her.
I'll say,
without trial.
that's a bunch
Even
of
the Attorney
bullshit.
General of the state of Florida did so on nationwide TV. Shame on her.
Shame on you,
Shame
bro.
local people too. And I can tell you, I'm not going to let it rest.
Whatever.
It's just
Pam
too
Bondi
much
did
He
come
did
out.
let it rest. You ain't do shit about
to allow
it. Sorry.
to just go away. This girl should never have been charged with capital murder.
Crazy
She
ass,
did not
man.
kill her daughter.
Yes, she did.
And
Well, I
was
don't know if she
convinced
did or
of
not.
that
I'm just
from
like-
the beginning when I was asked to join this team. And there it is.
There it is.
You know what I mean? This is crazy. Jesus Christ.
There it is.
So crazy. And there it is. She did, you know, and that's it. People just say shit because he said it, and then that's true. No, it's not true, bro. And she may not, who knows what happened, right? She may not have physically Googled chloroform, and she may not have
Or
physically
suffocation.
suffocated the girl or physically carried her out to the motherfucker. But
Didn't give her Xannies?
not saying makes her a bad mother. And if she did, then it's murder, like I said before, even if it's accident. And not saying anything about it for such a long time
Neglect for sure.
is contributing to her murder, contributing to the death. By staying quiet about it, you got a responsibility, bro. You literally have a legal responsibility to that little thing. And you ain't doing the fucking thing you're supposed to do. And then you're so like, just fucking, such a disgusting
You remind me
piece
of
shit,
Nancy
bro.
Grace right now.
Nah, no, I don't. No, I'm not. You just got Nancy Grace up on the screen. She's about to say some more dumb shit.
She's about to say everything you just said.
can only imagine how you felt when you saw Casey Anthony walk free.
Oh, because he's a
What
parent.
did you
She had the
feel when you
baby.
watched those
Okay,
images?
I can agree with her.
Well,
I'm not above or below agreeing with anybody if it's true.
Where she has this kind of an eerie grin once she gets into
Sleeps pretty well.
the car.
Sleeps pretty
and
well, bro.
it really just gives you a chill.
No,
What I'd
man.
really like to know, Piers, is who foot the bill for that private jet
molested her.
that picked her up at Orlando Executive
know what I
Airport,
mean?
and we think
Kid drowned in the
deposited her
pool.
somewhere in California.
You know what I mean? The meter reader did it.
That's what I'd like to know. I think
You know what I mean?
I've got
Zanny,
a
Nanny
lead
did
on
it.
it that
Still ain't
it
found
was,
Zanny.
somehow connected to a lawyer
Where's
that
she
was
at?
once on
You know
her
what I mean?
defense team.
That's my.
that later
That's her
fell off the
dad.
defense team,
That's her
apparently due to
dad.
bar complaints.
That's her
But
dad.
the bill
That's
for
her
the
dad.
private plane went
Those
to the
4
same
guys,
address
they
as
all
his
died
office.
in plane
So I
crashes.
think I know where the private
In
plane
tank
came
crashes.
from. Whether she was really
Helicopter
on the plane,
crashes.
I don't know. I
Bungee
doubt
jumping accidents.
You were saying?
Bungee jumping accidents. Biking accidents. She's a damn liar, bro. And her kid was missing. So I don't believe her. I don't believe shit she got to say.
That's
about
crazy
anything.
though. Like 4 of the supposed baby daddies died in car accidents.
That's the only. That's like all the extra shit. It is circumstantial, but it's just lies upon lies upon lies. When her daughter's life is supposedly in the balance, she probably already knew she was dead. Supposedly in the balance of where finding. Oh, we'll find her. We'll find her. Mom, don't worry, mom. Mom, don't worry. We'll find her. She's in jail talking to her mom through the television set, saying, "Oh, don't worry about it. It'll all come out. It'll all come out." Fuck that, bro.
Sounds like a delusional person.
No, it sounds like a liar. Sounds like a liar. Sounds like a liar, and it sounds like a murderer to me. But I can't say that for sure. We just had to like jump to conclusions, but nobody's gonna sit here and make me feel anything other than like the complete disgust, bro. Like entirely across.
I
the
can
board
agree
for
with
her.
the whole thing here is
It's just trash.
the lack of Caylee.
Yeah, we barely. But I will say that part of not seeing a lot of the Caylee in it is making sure that the attention goes towards at least in the moment. There's like remembering Caylee, right? But right now we got it like the case against Casey. You know what I mean? Right now it's let's make sure this gets taken care of before we start remembering and
You remember
loving
John Benet
whatever.
Ramsey?
Uh-huh.
I think, unfortunately, it's sadder because no one was ever prosecuted in that case. But it's the same thing with circumstantial evidence. They had a lot they could have prosecuted. Like, what about that scenario? Like, those were good parents, supposedly, right? And then they woke up and the baby was gone. Nobody knows what happened. Did they ever find the body?
I wouldn't say that they did, but I don't know for sure. I didn't research it for this.
So
particular
same scenario. What if the prosecutor didn't go after Casey Anthony?
I don't know the answer to this, but I'm going back to the same point. When the baby went missing, how long before the parents said something?
Oh, I think like the same day.
Probably.
Yeah. 31 days.
Fucking shit,
It's
bro.
31 days.
And you're lying to your mom about it. It's making up shit so that everything seems to be okay, so that your mom doesn't blow up your spot.
But what if she's covering up for something?
With her mom?
Yeah, in the family.
In the family? What if she's just a lying fucking person?
True.
That's like, no, all this, again, dad molested me. The pool did it. Roy Crunk did it. That's the baby daddy. That's the baby daddy. That's the baby daddy. Nothing. I didn't do anything. Like, I'm sick. Oh, I'm sick. I don't know. It's conveniently not dropping on me as a sick person, though, which is amazing. Nothing negative happened to her, which is amazing, right? But she's sick, and maybe she's sick. Maybe she's sick. Yo, goddamn, bro. Oh, it's so disgusting. No, man, she lied about it and got off. I don't know specifically what happened, but Zanny the nanny, where the fuck she at?
I don't think she got off because she lied.
She got off because it was a bad job, and the prosecutors. Yeah, sure.
Because she technically did get prosecuted. She went to jail for 2 years for lying.
Well, She got time served.
Well, she was in jail for 2 years.
Yeah, I guess so.
For lying, that's a lot. You don't think 2 years and a half for lying? Forget the murder. 2 years and a half for lying is not enough?
It just happened to be that because the trial took that long. The trial took like 6 months. She got 6 months for lying. Like she got time served. You know what I mean?
But do you think 2.5 years is enough for lying? Let's say she wasn't involved in the murder, but she did lie.
No.
She's trying to cover something up.
No, I don't think it's a long time. When child's murder, you covering shit up. Fuck you. I got no fucking what's kind of like mercy for that.
So many people are so passionate about the story, and there's like Kai said, there's so many deaths all the time, but this one.
Well, also, she's pretty and she's white. Don't forget that part.
I don't think she's that pretty, but
no,
she does have
she's not
that.
like
She has that vibe.
whatever,
She has that vibe.
She's pretty.
So you think she gave? You think blowjobs is enough to win a defense?
I don't know if that's true at all, but apparently it was like forgive my pun, but pro bono. I think it was like, I don't know what it was, but I was reading somewhere that at a certain point, they're in there and I don't even know if I should repeat it because I have no idea about it being true, but it was basically like Baez.
But this is a narrative that other media outlets painted, right?
Yeah, but I don't know if it was like CNN or anything like that. I feel like it was TMZ, but I don't know if it's true or not. I was just sitting there watching it one day like, this is nuts. This is like years later, and she's crying because she doesn't have any money, and Baez is walking around the offices like, all right, I guess you're going to jail today. Unless somebody's getting something done, like, better bop me off or something. But I don't remember where that came from exactly. You might be able to Google that.
I mean, he definitely wrote a book.
Nah, he probably had somebody write a book for him. Motherfucker can't write. Shit.
Are you mad at Baez?
Yeah, man.
And you don't think that like that's their job?
I don't give a shit. I don't like that. I don't like the defense attorneys against actual murderers. That makes no sense. I don't really feel like that. No.
You don't think it's important?
No, I don't really feel like
right.
that. But it's rough because they actually do defend like people who do crazy shit, and there's like video, like aside from this.
Like R. Kelly's attorneys?
Sure. R. Kelly's attorneys would be an example where it's like, come on, dog, how do you sleep at night? You know what I mean? How do you sleep at night? And, I don't really, obviously they're doing their job and that's what they got to do.
And thank God for the system.
And you need them. Because there's, for every Casey Anthony, there's a person who didn't murder their daughter with Zanny.
And we don't know if she murdered her. We don't know, Thompson. We don't know.
We don't.
We absolutely don't know.
We don't, because
nobody knows.
Nobody knows what happened.
We just know we found a little body.
We just know she didn't tell the truth for such a long time. Such a long time. And she kept lying and lying and lying and lying about everything.
But she lied before that, too.
Okay.
Yeah,
because she's good at it. So she can keep lying. Nobody even knew she had a daughter. I guess technically at that point she didn't, right?
Well, that's a good point. Do you think that was a narrative that the family drove because they were embarrassed about their daughter being so young and being pregnant?
No.
Well, it was brought up that was something that they suppressed to other people. Not even her little brother knew, or her older brother.
Yeah, it's just weird to me how much love it seemingly the grandma had.
Okay, just shooting from the 3-line, and I'm terrible at the 3-line. Okay,
3-line. You call it a 3-line, so that's probably it's a very good sign that you're bad at shooting from it.
It's a 3-line.
Go for it. Yeah,
I can't shoot from the 3-line.
I've never heard in the history of basketball. I've never heard somebody call it the 3-line.
That's where you shoot and get 3 points.
I've heard it called a 3-point line.
Okay, whatever.
No, I'm just saying.
Nah, I do that all the time.
As a basketball player,
my own context.
If people play basketball, it's like if I took a shot from the free line, right? That's technically right.
The free throw.
Nobody's ever said free line, or 3-line. Go
3-line.
It's all good. I love you.
What if the bait? Well, we know that. Unless the paternity tests are 99%, because we know from
I don't know, bro.
Kimberly's research on the fathers that Jose Baez made George take a paternity test So I guess that kind of throws that out the window, right? He wasn't the father, because that.
Nobody knows who the father is.
But what if he thought that he might have been the father? Let's go in with the abuse.
He didn't. I don't think he did. And man, he's such a broken dude, man.
Who?
Dude,
Jose
George
Baez.
Anthony.
Oh, George. Yeah.
Man. Yeah. Every time you see an interview or conversation with him, he's like on the verge of crying. When they were outside of the fucking house, everybody when the house,
but when like later on, there was an interview with them now.
When he's got the neck thing on.
And it just seems like the family, of course, is divided. It could only be divided after you get accused of being a pedophile,
together, bro.
Huh?
They're still together.
The mom and dad, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's nuts. How hard a life is that? They haven't moved.
They live in the same house?
They're the same house.
No.
How crazy is that, dude? They got the same phone number. Same phone number.
Why people call it?
Of course. They came to your house like daily. And
I know. I remember it was like people would just camp out outside their house.
And the grandmother would go off, and you just see him standing there like, oh, this is fucking the worst. Stop, please, babe. Stop. Ex-cop probably want to just fuck everybody up.
See, I didn't get that context because the
do.
first video that I remember I remember all that stuff when it was happening, but then doing the research on the story now, when I was listening to the interrogation by the FBI, because the FBI sat down with him and Cindy, and he was very open, right? But then he was kind of. And I'm just judging this, it just seemed like very not distraught, but wanting to help. Like he wasn't like, man, she's dead or nothing like that. It was more like, whatever I can do to help you guys, like just let me know. So neither one of those bring up the fact that he's guilty, but.
Well, it seemed like every time I watch something, even when he's listening to Baez call him a child molester, he's just like, damn, dog, this is fucking.
Well, Baez did tell him to, he's like, I'm going to say some stuff and I want you to throw yourself on the sword for your daughter. He said that to him.
He has to do his job, like you said, right? Fuck that shit, bro. You out here accusing me when the person you're sitting next to clearly isn't being cooperative in helping find their daughter. You know why?
Blowjobs?
No, because she's dead already.
No, I'm saying that's why.
I don't think that's true. That's such a crazy thing. I don't think it's true. That's so crazy. Like, who takes blowjobs for like payment?
I mean, maybe that's like part of the payment because he knew he was going to make more money off.
Ain't nobody got that good a blowjob, bro, to like replace money. Like to replace money.
We don't know that.
Well, we know that. But blowjobs at the end of 10 seconds after it's done, it feels the same.
Some people are addicted to them.
I mean, I understand, bro. It's okay. You may have a small problem, but what I'm saying is it's not that important, and I don't think it can replace hundreds of dollars of billable hours.
Oh, me? You thought I was the one?
Oh, I thought you were just saying, some people
no, I was just generalizing.
Seem like
how traumatic it's been for these last 9 years.
Can't understand.
They can't.
This is the whole expression you've made for this whole episode.
Oh, God.
Understand.
Ooh, Chris Hansen is the interviewer. He's not doing so well himself.
He's kind of, he's in some dirty shit. He was cheating on his wife.
Well, that was years ago. But he recently passed some bad checks or some shit.
Oh, that's right. He's trying to run his own shit.
Very energetic. Very intelligent young lady, little girl.
Look at his ass about to cry, bro. Come on, man. You don't think that dude look like he about to cry?
Always trying to make me laugh.
The happiness multiplied after then 18-year-old Caylee became pregnant.
How did you find out Caylee was pregnant?
She says, I just came from the doctors and I've got something to tell you. And she says, Mom, I'm pregnant. And I looked at her and her face, she was smiling, and I said, that's awesome.
Was she excited? Was she nervous?
No,
You don't think so?
Excited.
You don't believe it?
It was a
I'll believe it either. I think they had a bad
very
relationship too because they said they had a bad relationship.
And the boyfriend.
They talked about how they did.
You remember how there was the 4 or 5 boyfriends that died mysteriously in separate car crashes?
Yeah, but didn't they say they didn't know her like as boyfriends? Even the dudes.
They were just flingies. But
dated.
there were flingies. But there was a guy named Jesse that was actually trying to be involved.
Yeah, the guy who was with her afterwards.
George used to give him a lot of pressure. I guess common shit. Like, you guys are young. He's like, okay, I get it. You guys are engaged, but what are you guys really going to do for the baby's future?
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of stress there. I even heard a story that when Casey was in the delivery room and the baby came out, for some reason the doctor handed the baby to the grandmother. And there was always some type of resentment because it was brought up several times in arguments that, like, oh, you know, the baby always runs to you.
Yeah.
Casey speaking to Cindy, the grandmother.
She says in an interview that it wasn't her baby. It was their baby. It was our baby.
Right.
That's, you got to put some boundaries on that, even if we live in the same house.
But that's what I'm saying. There's clearly some type of dysfunction.
Yeah, I mean, that's not uncommon, though.
It's not.
Especially when you're living in the same house.
It's not.
Because in that way, it is our baby. You know?
Okay, so maybe they super enabled
they just did it
Casey to the point where she just started being okay. Maybe she was lying the whole time and they just let, little fibs here, blah, 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 and they just let her get away with shit. Because they also said that they found, right around the age of 19, on Casey's Facebook, they started to find a lot of promiscuous pictures and things of, so, you know, she could have been experimenting and, you know, girls at that age,
shit.
Yeah, it's a little dotty shit.
Yeah, but again, you got a baby at the house. You know?
That's why I think this whole case is not a premeditated murder. It's just a case of negligence and just immaturity, lack of parenting. Like, I know so many people like Casey, male and female, just young, stupid idiots that have no business having kids.
No, for sure.
You know?
And if any of those people give Xanax bars to their kids to fall asleep at night to go out to the club, you're a fucking idiot. You shouldn't fucking do that shit.
You're talking about...
Don't give your kids drugs to go to sleep and go party and shit because it's fucking stupid.
So right now, you're yelling at a young Mama Peans.
I'm sorry, Mama Peans, but don't do that shit. Like, don't put drugs in you.
When I was little, my Bob used to give me NyQuil when I wasn't sick to pass me out so that she could go out partying.
Hey, bro, I used to get rum in the bottle. Not rum like, at least I've been told that I've gotten some sort of like...
To chill out?
To chill out. And it's wrong. Like...
Is it?
Yeah, absolutely.
What if it's a healthy dose?
It's not. What do you mean a healthy dose?
Like when you got the side
it's
stuff.
Poison unless it's blue, unless it's red wine or whatever.
So you're saying I got poisoned?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I'm like fucked up.
No, not at all. Because there's
a whole other story.
Because there's a certain extent, right? There's a certain level of it, right?
Maybe
where
my
it's like
funniness came from
where it's like it's wrong to do, but again, you're here, it's all good, you know. Nobody's.
But Lil Wayne drinks syrup,
right? What does Lil Wayne have to do with anything? Let's not put Lil Wayne as like the measure of what we're supposed to be in life. You know what I mean? Let's not do that.
I'm just saying he sip syrup made him a good rapper.
I
sip syrup when I was little made me hypothetically good with words.
No.
Thanks, Mom.
No. Don't give your kids drugs to go to sleep. Don't give them Xanax. Don't give them NyQuil. Don't give them booze.
What if it works though?
Works in what way?
Passes little fucker out when he's like acting up.
It didn't work. You drugged your kid. It didn't work. They didn't go to sleep. They got drugged.
They do that in hospitals.
Huh?
What about when you get like Baker acted? They have to hit you with the
with a little chill. You can chill. A little chill. You might need to chill if you got problems for sure.
Don't do that to people.
No, you can do that to people. You give them drugs to pass them out when they're starting to fight people and hurt each other and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if you're going out to party, just so you can go out and party.
I just think it happens more than not.
I agree. And I guess we had that conversation last week. Just because it's happening and has happened doesn't mean it should happen and keep happening.
True.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Be upset. Be impatient with your kid. Yell at them if you have to, I guess. It's not good either, but don't drug them. You know, you want them to go to sleep so you can have a good time. You shouldn't have fucked without a condom.
What about blowing shotguns in the baby's face?
All of that's bad. That's even worse.
Okay.
like the Coptic church last week. You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, it happens a lot, man. And people got to do what they got to do to like make it through life, I guess. But it should be at the expense of a child, man.
Yeah.
That should be the number one. Once you have a child, all of the shit should fall off to the side.
Yeah, but sometimes kids that get like, you know, that did drugs as little kids, they come out to be funnier people. They come out to be more creative people.
No, for sure.
More better rounded
It's
people.
not necessarily going to kill everybody, but sometimes people fucking die from
Look
it.
at me. I was technically Caylee Anthony as a baby.
No, you
in a
weren't.
sense. In a sense.
No, again.
In a sense.
Again.
I had
It happened.
My mom wasn't Casey Anthony by any means,
Right.
but there was some neglect there. Every kid at different spectrums gets neglected. You know what I mean?
To some degree,
Yeah.
right? Just go watch TV for a while.
I mean, depending on the kid's perception, you could be neglecting Kai right now and you don't even
I wouldn't
realize
even know
it.
it, right? Well, at least he thinks so. I spent 5 hours yesterday making a bat house, so no neglect happened.
I realize that, but
but
that
what I'm saying,
happens in families, maybe not with Kai, but like where the parents think they're
the
doing
levels thing I was talking about. Yeah, and again, you're here, your mother loves you. It wasn't out of non-love or anything like that, right? She killed or possibly killed to have that done, and people are putting drugs in their baby so that they stop being a baby.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So they can go party.
Yeah.
For something that has no value, not even so they can go to work.
Well, no, it stimulates the economy.
Huh?
Stimulates the economy.
These motherfuckers do not pay the taxes they need to pay in.
You know how many people go downtown every Friday and
These
Saturday?
motherfuckers do not pay the taxes they need to be
You know
paying.
what the average spent downtown is like $250.
Cash is hidden.
Times 12. That's like $21,000 a person spent
fuck that.
yearly on going out.
Fuck it. Fuck that.
That stimulates the economy.
Fuck that. Find another way to stimulate the economy. Don't poison your babies.
True. You got to be better at that part.
You got to be better being a parent. You know? Well, no. Ha, take that back. No, you don't. You can still be a shitty parent. Just don't poison your kid. Just fucking listen to them until they fall asleep. They're not going to be awake forever. And if they are, then you got to deal with it because it's your kid.
That's true.
You just do, man.
Yeah, you know, some people look at parenting as a job, and it's like, no, that's a nobility.
Man,
it's what would it be called? It's not a job. It's
an honor.
Absolutely.
It's a responsibility.
Responsibility.
It's important that you do it correctly, or you're going to create a bunch of people that
are fucked up.
Like
or really creative.
It's important to the world, man. You have to be a good parent, and if you can't, then you should take that kid to a place where they will be cared for correctly, whether it be your grandma's house or your mother's house or the state. I guess I don't know. That's not a good place to take kids, so they go into foster care. But if you can't do it, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Find somebody that will.
Yeah.
Don't kill that kid, man. She killed it even if she didn't do it physically.
Yeah, just neglectful murder.
Being neglectful, being quiet, making up Zanny the nanny, making up all sorts of crazy stories, wasting people's time. People come over from like Texas to walk for like weeks.
They sued her. That Texas research, they
Equifax.
Yeah, they come in.
Equa, because they're something.
They're called Texas something.
Not Equifax.
I had
That's
the
credit
video.
thing.
But yeah, they actually sued her.
Now, how are they going to get any money from her? Because she lied?
Well,
because the lying part of it is what wasted their time.
People thought that she was getting money from different media outlets trying to get stories out of her.
Yeah, but she's not allowed to, right?
No, she's allowed to do that. But what happened was that she didn't. She was trying to, I guess, hide some of the money in some respect. But anyway, one of the attorneys that was still in her circle took her to federal court so she can basically have a federal bankruptcy, so that it basically adds kind of a protection for lawsuits. Once you file for federal bankruptcy, if anybody wants to put in an injunction for a lawsuit, they'll go and they'll put it in and they'll realize that that person is federally bankrupt, so that there can't be no lawsuit prosecuted under them. So she went and did that because so many people. There was a defamation lawsuit from this Zenelda Gonzalez.
Yeah, someone who actually named.
Yeah.
That's crazy as hell too, to be
People
just
are coming
at
after
your
her.
job chilling and all of a sudden your name comes up. It's like, oh, I let Chris Thompson watch my kid.
Yeah,
Chris
but
Thompson's been
your
watching
name
your
is
kid.
a little more generic than.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
Zenelda
Yeah,
Gonzalez.
that's true too, right? Although that's probably more common in.
Nah, I'm
No?
Spanish. That's not a common name.
Zenelda? Okay.
Maybe from fucking Dominican Republic
Just
or
Gonzalez,
something,
right?
but not Colombia or.
But
where my
imagine just
people
sitting
hail
there at your
from.
job and all of a sudden it's like, yo, where's the baby at? Like, what the hell are you talking about? This is my job right here. I don't babysit kids. But then, yeah, she had to sue her. She didn't win though. She didn't get anything.
Well, nah, there's nothing to get.
There's nothing to get.
Nah. There was another lawsuit by this up and coming journalist that was going to pay Casey Anthony $900K for an interview, but then for some reason she backed out of it. So he ended up trying to
I
sue
thought
her.
the lawyer said she couldn't profit off of it. I thought the judge said she couldn't profit off it.
No, I don't think that.
I must remember that wrong then, because that was a big part of it. At the end of the trial, it was like she's going to be able to be the Lifetime movie and make money off of this. But I thought the judgment said that she wasn't allowed to profit in any way.
She's going to get rid of some of these tabs. I had opened all these tabs and I was going to deep dive into all this other Casey Anthony shit, but it really was irrelevant. We touched on all of it, basically.
Yeah, man. I hear that because there's no evidence, we shouldn't all be jumping to conclusions and convicting her in the
Well, she's so damn cute. Look
court
at that face.
of public appeal. That's the picture that was everywhere. Court of public opinion, but I'm not in court, and I watched the trial from beginning to end, and including the interrogation. Like, I watched it as it was happening. And she just lied about so many things and told the truth about so little things, including when she died or how she died. And now she's saying in an interview now, like, I still, to this moment, have no idea what happened. No, I didn't tell my lawyers to do any of that. They were just saying all of that stuff. I was doing as I was
she's
told.
like, that's other people's explanation.
I was doing as I told.
I mean, she's still stuck to the thing about her father. Like, my dad knows about it.
So that was true.
Who knows?
Nah, it's Casey Anthony.
They're talking about.
Or the one that JD Power says is highest in network quality by people who use it every day.
This is a tough one.
Did you update your Android?
Verizon won both, so you didn't have to
I got
choose.
G5.
Maybe you just lead with that.
It's like a fun thing.
Chosen by experts, chosen by you. And now get
5G.
Apple Music included on us. It's the unlimited plan you need.
I can't
on
hear
the
you
network
from over
deserve.
there.
Switch
Private
now and get
planes.
$300 off our best phones.
This is a story about Casey Anthony profiting.
She's not only out of jail, Casey Anthony is on the move tonight. The SUV she ducked into when she left the Orange County Jail this weekend took her to a small airport, local sources say. It's unclear exactly where she might have flown or even that she did fly. And while Casey Anthony may have been acquitted 2 weeks ago of murder, how she'll fare in the court of public opinion is an entirely different matter. Here's ABC's Jim Avila for our series, Crime and Punishment.
Under cover of darkness, the country's most notorious not guilty murder suspect vanished from sight, leaving yet another perplexing question in her wake. What on earth is she going to do with her life now?
For sure she'll be Florida. I mean, it seems like she's in some real danger right now. And again, I don't see police departments anywhere in the country running to help her.
PR expert Ron Tarosian, who's helped manage crises for Sean P. Diddy Combs and Pamela Anderson, says Casey Anthony is not your run-of-the-mill PR hot potato.
Tracy Morgan making anti-gay statements, well, that's one thing. Britney Spears on her drug binge, well, that's one thing. Even Charlie Sheen with his shenanigans is one thing.
7
When you're
gram
talking
rocks.
about the murder of your own child, well, let's put you in a different hemisphere.
On top of that, unlike other controversial defendants like O.J. Simpson and Michael Jackson, Casey has no pre-existing support base.
In order for there to be any sort of a comeback, there has to be somebody who's your cheering section, whether it's a certain racial group, whether it's a certain ethnic group.
I'm disgusted. Absolutely disgusted.
Like many who were revolted by the verdict, Bree Thornton is even more disgusted at the
Damn,
thought
this
that
girl made
Casey,
signs.
who left jail with $537 to her name, could cash in on her notoriety with a book deal or a pay-per-view special.
I don't want her to be a millionaire. I don't want her to make millions of dollars for killing her kid. What does that tell everybody else?
Casey Anthony's been offered $1 million from a TV production company to tell her story. And she wouldn't be the first. There's a long history of notorious defendants.
How's she gonna be able to do that?
Mike Tyson, the former undisputed heavyweight champion, was convicted of rape and sentenced to 6 years in prison. Following his release in 1995, Tyson earned an estimated $25 million from his first comeback fight. Amy Fisher, a.k.a. the Long Island Lolita, shot Mary Jo Buttafuoco, the wife of her lover Joey. Fisher pleaded guilty to first-degree aggravated assault and was paroled in 1999. Following her release, she wrote a book, If I Knew Then, worked in the adult film industry, and appeared as a cast member on Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew. And, of course, O.J. Simpson. He was reportedly paid $1.1 million, a publishing advance for If I Did It, a fictional account, a hypothetical account of how he could have carried out the murders of his wife Nicole and Ron Goldman. But believe it or not, Anthony is not without her supporters.
I believe that people
The
should,
investigator that
respect
she's
the
living
due
with now?
process and the judicial system.
Yeah, he was the lead investigator of the O.J. Simpson case.
It's just uncalled for.
Some, a few, say leave her alone. Respect the not guilty verdict. A handful sent her money in jail. That's how she got the walking around money upon release. One of her donors even offered a place to stay.
The jury has spoken. If she is guilty of anything, she'll have to live with that for the rest of her life. But I believe
Sleeps pretty good, bro.
verdict should be respected.
And some mourners at this makeshift memorial to little Caylee are open to forgiveness with one condition. Do you think she can be forgiven?
Yes.
But not as long as she stonewalls.
No.
She has to tell people that she had something to do with it.
Right. If you think of all the open cases that we've experienced as Americans, it never goes away.
Do you think there's anything that she can do to get the forgiveness?
Tell the truth.
Tarosian says that would be nice, but it's highly unlikely. He thinks we're more likely to see Casey have a change of face than a change of heart.
My guess is she'll change her name, she'll change her appearance, and we won't hear from her again a few years from today. I think that with a good plastic surgeon, she perhaps could be unrecognizable if she's able to live underneath the radar.
For Nightline, Jim Avila, ABC.
So, yeah, I don't know if...
Can Casey Anthony profit from her story? 2011. Down, 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 bam. Now the case is on a jail. Can she cash in? I've heard some rumors. Go down. Kill Caylee. Can't be tried twice. Back in court. Possibly end. Go down. Rain. And Caylee didn't try. Oh, go down. It doesn't say. It just says it's just a question. It doesn't have an answer. I can't remember. I thought the judge at the beginning said that she couldn't, because it wasn't always Belvin Perry. There was like a woman at the beginning, wasn't there? The woman judge?
I don't know.
Am I messing that up? I don't know. I remember there being something that was like, oh, I don't want you to benefit after this, after you he's acquitted of murder during the meeting. Creditors, Baker case. Anthony said she was unemployed. She didn't receive any money to tell her story. She said that she was living with friends and a stranger sent her gift cards. Her attorney said that he thinks that story has value and should be auctioned off the highest bidder. So the question is whether it's appropriate. They're just asking if it's appropriate or not if. Like, at some point, I thought The judge said that she couldn't. Oh shit! Was that am I thinking of Zimmerman? I don't remember, dude.
I mean, didn't he sell like some? Sold like some artwork.
He's trying to
and
auction
shit.
off the gun, wasn't he? Piece of crap that guy is. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Well, that's a story from two fucking idiots from Florida, based on factual emotion.
Factual
Google
emotions.
searches. We have a doctorate in life experience, bitch.
No, man.
Bitch. You have to put bitch. When you see my diploma, it says bitch at the end of it. But not towards women or nothing, just towards life.
I'm not part of what he was just saying.
Life's a bitch?
I don't be calling women bitches.
I call life a bitch.
Yeah.
Can you call life a bitch?
Nah, my life's great, man.
No, but can you call life a bitch?
Yeah, sure.
You think life will take it personal?
Maybe karmically,
right?
Might throw
Could be a
back at
man
you, like you thought I was being a bitch.
Dick.
Now I'm about to be a bitch.
I'm transsexual. Life
was
transsexual.
Like a transitioning life.
Life is like try.
I don't know. Is bitch just a woman?
It's like a Barbie doll with no genitals.
What are you talking about?
This Fresh Produce Florida Media at Gmail. That's the email. It's gonna be right up here. Please email us. Let us know if you like this story. If you thought we were complete idiots.
Don't poison your kids.
Don't poison your kids. No NyQuil. No shotguns.
Just don't go
weed.
out.
Yeah.
Just don't go out.
Start a discotheque in your house.
Yeah, dance with your kids in the house
with virgin drinks.
You know, or have a party and invite other kids over.
Yeah.
And try not to get too wrecked because kids see that shit too.
Yeah, set the example.
Yeah.
How hard is it to just set the example while you're pounding your Fosters? Well,
notice my child's not here.
Well, life is full of excuses. You should take everything we say with a grain of salt and a 45 caliber bullet.
You ain't got the answers, man.
Just remember to love everyone unconditionally and try to learn from people's mistakes so that you can better yourself. That's not using people. That's learning from people. Like always, my name is Phraydoe Peans.
Thompson!
We will be here every week with more entertaining things. Please subscribe.
Thompson!
If you notice a Cash App on one of the comments, head over to our page and send us money. Or don't.
Are we getting money?
No.
Oh.
I'm just saying if they want it. I'm going to add that to the Cash App.
Just playing with all the...
I'm by winning.
Peace and love to y'all.